Hello, everyone. Today is December 25th, and I'm here to serve you. It's my holiday. I'm on vacation today. So I'm here to just make another video for you on Anaconda Linux Ubuntu. So let me share my screen first. That way we can get it started. And then if you look at the PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to go through a slideshow, and then we're going to just show you what I'm going to cover today. So basically, the software that we are going to introduce to you is Anaconda-Navigator. It is written by the company called Anaconda, and Conda in Anaconda is open source. So anaconda.org started with, and anaconda.com, the commercial company, is part of this software is being produced with them, and there's a lot of open source community that they're contributing as well. I'm not affiliated with Anaconda or anaconda.org at all, but I just know the software is open source and it is used within Python environment, within C as a developer. You might need to understand Anaconda and software and all the IDEs that are supported under Anaconda, because you might be a data scientist or artificial intelligence coding in AI stuff, or maybe coding as a general purpose. You will use Python. Python programming language is basically object-oriented programming as well as functional programming. PEP is the package indexing default for Python, and then Anaconda is also similar to PEP that we're going to cover on this video, and I'm going to just discuss that one. In addition to PEP and Conda, Anaconda also allow you to just run C compilers and C++, so you could have a virtual environment or development environment that you could have different version of Ubuntu, sorry, not Ubuntu, on different platforms on Mac or Linux or OS, and then Windows, or the different version of the operating system, as well as different version of Python, as well as different version of compilers, whether it's GNU, C collection compilers, or something else. So let's get started with this one, Anaconda-Navigator on Linux Ubuntu. The reason I'm covering Linux Ubuntu because I had numerous other videos on Rocky Linux, Red Hat Linux, and Linux Ubuntu, Fedora distribution, Kali Linux, a lot of them. And I'm just going to introduce you to a lot of these tools and compilers, interpreters, databases, operating system related activities that you can just start coding, whether you write it in Bash, Awk, or SED, or Python, or C, or C++. I have some videos for you. So this video again is on Anaconda-Navigator, and in particular I'm covering the command line of Conda, as well as an Anaconda-Navigator, which is the desktop GUI version that has a lot of IDs, whether it's a Visual Studio Code or PyCharm, or maybe Spider is definitely there. Spider, maybe Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook. I'll show you all of those ones. And then it's going to be on the Linux distribution of Debian distribution, which is Ubuntu, is the flavor. I'm going to be covering that one, and I think it is version 24.04, and I will show you that one after. And it's going to be a full course, so you will learn a lot of Linux Ubuntu, as well as a lot of Anaconda-Navigator, the GUI and the command line syntax. You will know it, and it's going to be from 0 to hero. So I assume that you don't know anything about Anaconda, you don't know anything about Conda or package under or Spider or some of those IDEs that are provided under, how to use these commands, and then I'll go from scratch, download the software, everything, install it, configure it, and we will just show you how to create virtual environment. There's a lot of stuff I'll be covering there, so stay tuned and you will learn a lot. And then I hope that you watch these videos. The other day I made an Anaconda on Linux Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, and that was also from zero to hero full course. And this was Anaconda on Red Hat. And then that one already posted on the website. And then yesterday I made Anaconda-Navigator on Rocky Linux. This one is about 1 hour, 51 minutes or something. The other one was about 2 hours and 3 minutes or something. So just enjoy these videos and learn from it. The reason I'm posting it on every platform, you might have a job at Rocky platform or Red Hat or Ubuntu. I want to make you feel comfortable with your coding and your experience. Whether you're a student, a developer, or a researcher, or a data scientist, I have something for you. You can learn a lot from it there. And I teach these courses at college myself in the past, and then I have taught at least 8 years of part-time teaching. So I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm covering is going to benefit you. So please just enjoy the videos and watch it. Go to youtube.com at MyWebUniversity. If you click on the videos, the latest one is these two that I just showed you, the Anaconda on Rocky and Anaconda on Red Hat. Those two are the latest, but I have a lot of videos, so you're welcome to watch those ones, as well as the popular one for this one. Notice this one that I said, this is the latest one. So I posted this one a couple of days ago. And then the one with the popular is like about a year ago. They are not on Anaconda. This is on the full course. It's about 4 hours and 12 minutes on Rocky Red Hat Enterprise Linux. There's more than 15,000 people watched it, and then a lot of people made a lot of good suggestion and then comments and everything. So you're welcome to learn from it, and then I'm covering a lot within that 4 hours. It's not, as somebody said, it's not easy to just make a 4 hours video. Yes, you're right. But if you know the materials and then you know you structured it in a way that you have table of contents on the class, and you just covering it from very beginners to intermediate to advanced level, you have a lot of materials on Red Hat, and same thing with Rocky Linux to cover. So that's why I made this one for Rocky Linux about 3 hours and 18 minutes, and that's also watched a lot. So please watch these ones. Rocky Linux is a software that I love the most because it is still open source. Red Hat, unfortunately, when it was acquired by IBM, the open source community no longer have access to the source code. So Red Hat says only subscribed users could have the source code. If you're not purchasing the product, you cannot have the source code. But Rocky is kind of like before we had CentOS, which is stand for Community Enterprise Edition of Operating System. When CentOS 8.6 was end of life about 2-3 years ago by Red Hat, Rocky Linux, which was kind of like started off, forked off as a result of Rocky, CentOS becoming end of life. So the founder of Rocky, which was two co-founders, one was Rocky himself, the other one was Greg Kurtzer. Greg Kurtzer is a very nice gentleman. He is on the LinkedIn, one of my friends. So we just sometimes communicate. And then the nice thing about him is that he named the new version of CentOS, which was they were working together as Rocky after the name of his co-founder. That maybe he's no longer with us. I'm not sure what is the reason, but maybe he passed away. If he did, God bless him. But he produced this software with open source community with Greg together, and now we're all taking advantage of it. By sharing, you always care about others. We are going to go someday out of this earth, And that's why I'm here for you on December 25th on a holiday to make another video for you to just help you out. If you're a researcher, developers, please join the channel, which is at MyWebUniversity is the channel handle, and it's at youtube.com. I want to thank you for watching this video. And if you have already subscribed, thanks for your subscription. And if you haven't done it, please subscribe so you get all the notification and all the latest, greatest that I post, you will be informed. As well as if you share these videos with your coworkers, friends and loved ones and family members, they know that you care about them too. By you sharing and you care on honesty, knowledge is passed on. Knowledge is power, but by sharing it, we make everybody powerful. And then we cannot be powerful if we don't inspire others and we just help only ourselves. That is a selfless kind. You have to be selfless. You cannot just be too much about yourself. The fact that Ubuntu name is like an African tribe name, is they say I am because you are. That's a nice thing about it. It's not about self, it's about others. And so you could say that, well, we all exist because of each other, or I am because you exist, and then therefore we could serve each other. And then by serving, we can help out the community grows, and then we all have a peaceful life on Earth as long as we are here. And so just take care of each other. This is time that maybe Christmas, everybody's off on the 25th, but we need to cherish these holidays and just celebrate it with our family for the love of peace and prosperity for everybody else, and not just ourselves only. Okay, so I'm going to make this video, and then I'll just show you what we are going to be covering on the actual Ubuntu server now. And I already showed you the YouTube channel. So this is the two of them. And then if you're looking at the 4C version, I also have 4C for people from Afghanistan, Iran, and Tajikistan. They can also watch the 4C version. If you're not familiar with English version, then you're welcome to watch the 4C version. Once you learn the 4C version, watch the English version, so you could get a job, and then you understand your coworkers, you can help them faster that way. And then this is MyWebUniversity, my YouTube channel. On the MyWebUniversity, I have the two channels, the English version and then the 4C version. If you click on those ones, it takes you to YouTube and watch all those videos. But you can also click on the one of these chapters, the direct path to Linux Ubuntu. The entire book is online, so you don't need to be in front of a Linux machine in order to practice Linux. You can just come in and go to chapter 2 for basic Linux there, and each one of them I have like chapters by chapters. I have like these commands, 33 commands, and then you can see it. God bless my brother, Dr. Haman Lutfi. He was the inspiration of my life. Every time I come into this chapter, I just feel sad. In 2021, God bless him, he passed away. He was a cardiologist at Kaiser for 50 years. He did so many noble things, and I'm dedicating this book for him. So you could see all these videos, that is for chapter 2. As well as, like, let's say you click on the calendar, say, what is the calendar? If you just click on the calendar, the current month is December, it will give you, this is on my server on the cloud of MyWebUniversity. It runs on the Linux server, and the output is produced for you here on your browser. So on the tips, you could just get output. If you want to get 9070, the entire calendar of 9070, 9031, then you can get 9031. And if you say, give me the 9070, you just get 9070. Depending on where you click on it or what output you do. And then these commands, I could just also type in here pwd and get me the print working directory. Or say what version of Unix I have. Linux I have, it says Linux at my web tutorial that information is running on my cloud and get it. If I just say, give me a ls plus L, you can see that you can just practice online. You don't have to be in front of a Linux machine in order to do this one. And if you say, Wahid, is this running dynamic? Yes, it does. I did not hard code it, it's all dynamic. This program reads the command and then it's parse it and then give you the instruction and the output on your browser. So you're running Linux on a browser, basically. And that's with all the security features, everything enabled, so somebody cannot just come and hack the site there. And also, if you want to do manual pages on the command that you do, you will get the manual pages here. So here you just have an option of saying that, okay, let me get we show you calendar, give me the manual page of calendar, it was already open. I could also say, I did the uname, let's get the uname there. So whatever command you do, I just give you the output there. And then on top of it, this is just one command. And sometimes you may just say, well, this is great, I can practice all these commands online and get the output. And if you just click on next for chapter 3, you will get the Linux Ubuntu 33 commands again, and then practice those ones and watch these videos. So each video is made up for, so you don't have to keep clicking on it and practice it. You could watch the video, learn it, and then come back here and practice. Like you type in df and then df-h, human readable format, and this was -h, and this is output here. So if you say, what about df-h, f, the file system extended for file system, and right there, these are extended for file system, and df-h, -h means human readable, f means file system. The file system in this case is extended for file system. Linux support a lot of file system, and then tempfs is one, extended for xfs, nfs, you can name it. ZFS is also not supported there. So if I just come in here and say, what about permission stuff like security stuff? Can I do some commands running it? There are certain things that I have to prevent all the users to create accounts on my server or delete files or something. So I'm writing for those ones like change group or change mode or change ownership or password. Some of those ones I give you like a book kind of documentation. So I write the example and then I explain it to you. Like change mode is all the information here, how the permission works, how the access control list works, how the change mode, the mode of it, and what is octet, what is read, write, execute, what is read dash write, and so on. All of that one, the octet numbers and the permissions, and then the UMask, all of that one, and how they convert it, all of that information is explained here. You can learn it very nicely, like reading a book online for free. And then, so if you do the same thing with change ownership permission, you can see that it's all there available for you. So you can learn that. Plus, let's just show you what is available on chapter 4. This was intermediate. In chapter 4, I'm gonna go through a few of them, just a few of the chapters, so you know how to practice it and learn it online. Like, notice on chapter 4, I have more than 33 commands. This is about 88 commands. Each row has 11, and there's 8 rows. 8 times 11 is 88. For each row, I have one video here. So the last row, which you start from G4 to make, is this video, chapter 4, part 8 of 8. So if you watch this one, I'll cover this row. And the same thing that goes for 7 and 6 and so on. So assuming that you're learning these commands and want to practice it on my server, notice that process is stream 3. These are advanced commands. So a lot of the senior people that I train them, or their senior or their intermediate essays or something, at some point I train them and just help them out. When I do that one, basically at my work or some other place, or I teach it at the school, they're looking for these commands as like, oh, this is too advanced for me, that I have to do. There's no such thing as advanced. The more you're exposed to stuff, the more you can learn it. So this process stands for process stream 3. What does that mean? It's a tree structure kind, and it is based on a process. So in this case, the process ID 1 is the system D. If you click on the system D is the process ID 1. And that these other child processes that are forked off, it comes like a tree. And each time, because we get it, you could get a process ID for them, as well as you could do a -T for thread name, -P for process number, and then you could get all that information with it. At the same time, notice it is a tree-like structure. That command tree is also going to work on Windows as well as Linux, but process stream 3 is going to show it. Like here in this case, I just do on the $$, meaning that my process ID of the calling program. So the calling program, and this one was a PowerShell, and then PS3 was the command that is there. Then there's no child process for that. There's a lot here that is there. Like, for example, let's say if you want to do GCC compiler, sometimes all these things I had to write you a hello world example and then compile it and for statement, all that thing. I did it this because I wanted you to learn. Similarly, advanced debugger, if you want to learn it, there's a lot here. So some of them, the module debugger and the advanced debugger, a lot of those tools are available. Core and G Core, you can see here. This video G Core, also when I do the compilation, I show you how to build Apache, LD, and assembly language, and make. All of those ones are very essential, like executable link format. These are commands, LSOF, list of open file system, process kill, pkill, Debian packages on the, for example, on the Ubuntu, you have dpkg for Debian packages and apt-get, apt-cache, this sources.list is the repository, app.conf would be there, and then apt application package toolkits. Then you also have snap, but pkg is the package. So here, if I say, show me dpkg-open SSH client, it just runs that command against -L and lists the output here. Similarly, if you see dpkg-long listing, then it's have much more information with all the GANZIP files that are related to the SSH ARC stuff. And so, and then again, man pages is going to give you man pages on that one with dpkg that you see here. And if you say, give me the system D, you could type in system D here, and then just get the man page for system D. It will just produce the system D output here. But the nice thing about this one, I also have these manual pages on my website as a PDF file. What I mean by that is, like, if you come in on the main page, notice that I'm teaching you Ubuntu here. So on chapter 8, Linux Ubuntu manual page is there. Also chapter 12, dynamic generation on Ubuntu, you could just do that one. So if you want a particular command, you could go chapter 12. If you want to get a bigger list of all the thousands of commands, maybe 7,000 PDF files is there. For C and C++ header files is HTML documentation here, similar. The Linux Rocky release 9.2 that I showed you on the previous video, that's about 11,000 PDF files. Similarly, on the Red Hat Enterprise, about 12,000 I showed you on the other video. So let's go on the Ubuntu. You can see here, when you go on Ubuntu, just see that there's about 6,000 or 7,000 PDF file. They're all just manual pages, section 1 through section 9. So whichever one you are looking for, then you will get the output. Like, for example, if you're interested in Python, you just type in Python. Notice that at the time of creation of these PDF files, I just had Python 3.6 installed on the Ubuntu server that I built this documentation from. So if you just click on this one, I just gave credit to MyWebUniversity, Python, manual pages of Ubuntu, because the Ubuntu server, I just have to get it, and I'll show you how you can get the information there. And then those are all open source stuff. So it's if you can see it on the server, it's okay to display it as well, and it's free, and I'm not charging anything. So it's all I'm using my own server, my own storage to produce this output for you, so you can learn it. That way you don't have to buy expensive book at college, or as a developer, you could get all of it for free while you're still looking for a job, and you can help yourself. My job as a person that I went through a hard time myself, finishing my Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Master of Science in Computer Science, when I couldn't afford myself to just pay for expensive books. I had to stay in the libraries. And when one of my students at Pasadena City College said, can I get a PDF version of it because I cannot afford to buy the expensive book, I knew that how he felt and there. So I had the empathy, and then I wrote this Python program that generated all these thousands of PDF files. So you could just come in here, search for Python, and then look at the documentation. But you might say, well, this is only 7 pages. How is that going to help me? Just do a Control F here and type in HTTPS. And then right here, inside this documentation, there's more reference to that one. So my Python program did the code reusability, that I made this one as a hyperlink. So these hyperlink that are already referenced here, I'm also making it through PDF to be hyperlink. So it's clickable. If you go like the docs.python.org, now you're on the docs.python.org version 3 of documentation, and you can learn all of that in an easy way. Python setup usage, you just read that one, and then whatever you're interested, you just go and click on it, right? And so if I just go back here on the reference library, then you have all that information. All these modules are methods. In this case, these are methods that you can do. Like for inside Python, you can do help, and then you can put some arguments like request here, or whatever is the request. If you do request with S, then obviously it's going to tell you that there's the module request if it is loaded. So here, all of this information is there. And then there's a lot here. I'm just not going to go through this, but if I say, okay, let's see what is HTTPS. Is there a downloads? Yeah, you can just go to the downloads, or PyPy for package indexer. Let's go to downloads, and now you can just click on the downloads directory and download the Windows version, the Linux version, all of those ones, or the latest versions are available. Similarly, for py.org. So the documentation is going to help you a lot. And if you just say, well, what he did is great, how about getting some other things, because you're saying Anaconda. Anaconda support GCC also, and C++. So if I just come back here on the documentation, say, and do I have anything with GCC? Now this, I found it. 1 second, I'm getting some text. I'm just gonna pause for a second. Okay, sorry about that. So basically, if I'm looking for a GCC, for example, I could do a Control F here and type in GCC, and then depending on the version, I could just look, because it's one of 25. There's a lot of them. And I know that at the time when I did it was maybe GCC version 7, and that was available. So I could search for this one, and No, look, GCC 11.1 PDF file. So whichever one you're interested, you could just open that one, and then that is, let's go to 11, see if that one is the GCC 11 version. Yeah, this is GCC 11, so it is about 576 pages long. So that's the whole PDF file there. And obviously, this one has the for statement, the loop, the function, the main, all those details, how to compile stuff. Everything is there on this. You could read it for days and hours, and it's 576 pages. You don't need to buy books. You could just get everything here. And then obviously, if you just are doing coding, once you understand this one, it's just the same thing. And every operating system you do, the compilers, you just write different, maybe for different processor, you do it compile differently, everything, but scanf function and the parameter that you pass it might just have some argument for Windows differently than Linux, but reading a file is reading a file. So writing a for statement is writing a for statement. Writing a function is the same thing. So if you start coding and you just understand the concept, you will do really good at these ones. Whether you do it on G++ or GCC or something else is there. So if I told you about dynamic, let's say I'm looking at something dynamic here, chapter 12, and then this one by default I generate bash.pdf. So people need to learn bash scripting. It's all here, about 87 pages long. And then you'll notice that all these things I formatted, they're really nice to make sure that you can read it in uppercase and all those things. So this is part of my Python program that generated this PDF file. Otherwise, if you're on a Linux Ubuntu, this bash command is all text-based. But I make it for free for you, available, and you need to enjoy it and learn it from it and share it with your friends. So here, if I say, for example, G++, let's see if we have G++, because the G++ is also about 500 or 600 pages long, so it takes less than a minute to generate the file because I'm creating it dynamically as the user gave information. I create a PDF file for that one. So now I just generated that one. It took about 30 seconds. So g++.pdf is now available. And now notice that it's 399 pages long. And so you can see all the switch statement and all of that information. You're welcome to learn it there. And if you just do a Control F here and search for HTTPS, if there's any HTTPS, you can see those pages are there. Since 12 of them, you can see that you can go to gcc.gnu.org. GNU stands for GNU is not Unix. And then this is a very good website that a lot of the utilities of Linux and Unix came from GNU.org website, developers.org, and so on, gcc.gnu.org again. A lot of these websites, you can go to them, and then like here, gnu.org, if you click on it, it takes you to GCC to configure this. And if you just say, well, that's good, I just could go to the main page, gnu.org this is a GNU compiler collection. GCC stands for GNU collection compilers or compiler collection. And the order, it doesn't matter. It is a collection of compilers, whether C or C++, that they provided through GNU. So we did this one, and then now I'm going to go back to main page, and I'm going to show you one more things with chapter 5. Chapter 5 is Unix shell scripting. So if you learn Linux Ubuntu, you might just say, how do I write an F statement? Function. Here is the F function with all the arguments and everything that are passed to it. And then you can just go here and then run this script here, say compare 10 and 10, and it runs on my website here. And it does say that output is there. So like W3 School Consortium, they just did something with Python or some HTML and everything. I thought that it would be nice for somebody to just run Linux commands on the server. A lot of companies, they're afraid that they could be hacked and they just don't provide it. But look at this one. If I just type in date right now on this one, let me just type in date here. As soon as the browser is taking focus, it is just, okay, now it is taking focus. And then I just type in date and I get the output for December 25. So it runs dynamically. I say, give me calendar, it give me the calendar. Say, show me the PWD, it shows you PWD. Uname -A, it gives you uname -A output. If I program it not to show, then it's not going to show. Like some of them, I may have to just say, don't show that information because that is sensitive or something. But if I say less minus L, show me, and then I get the output. Now, somebody might just say, well, can I touch a file? Say, touch this, because of right permission, security reason, I don't create the file. It says, touch this is not allowed. So they say, well, I could do the PWD, and then I could do another command and say rm minus rf star. And so now I say run the print working directory followed by a semicolon, and then just run after that one a star, and then all of a sudden my program detects and say, no, you're not allowed to do that one. So that's how you have to make sure that they don't do SQL injection or something. Like, for example, do PWD and then or ls, and then ls give you the output or this. So I could say ls and then just say and run this command and then say echo rm minus rf, and then send this information rm minus rf, and then send it to a greater sign temp t dot sh. T.sh is like temporary file here, and then do a semicolon on that one, and then say bash -x temp t.sh. Bash -x saying that execute that one. So if you run this command, you just wasted, as a hacker, you just wasted your few seconds or minutes of typing this command, because I'm detecting it. I say it's not allowed. You cannot create a file here because you want to do it, or you cannot just say this command is allowed, therefore I'm going to do this other command. So there's a lot of things I just built it on this behind the scene. It is while it's helping you to learn Linux, at the same time I have to protect my website. And thank God it is since 2000 I built it and it's not been hacked. And so it has been 23, 24 years. I have been doing a lot of stuff here. And as you can see, there's a lot of tools there. You can come and start learning and then enjoy it and then do it. If you're a C++ person, then you just want to get header files information, it's here. Like, for example, Control F standard io.h, and then you can see when I do that, the standard IO, I could say .h for header, and it will pick up the exact one. It's like a grep command inside the browser when you do Control F search for it. And this is the standard IO header file, and this is the path where I picked it up last time. So when you install the library header files, it will have it there, and then my program will just parse it for you on the screen. So on this one, you might say, Wahid, everything that you showed me is Linux. Yeah, I actually have done Linux and Windows. So like if you go on these chapters and you watch these videos and you say, well, can I just get the Linux and Windows technical documentation? This page, all PDF files by itself, about 32,000 PDF files are in here. Whether it's Rocky 11,498 PDF files, or Linux Ubuntu 6,992. At the time that I did it was that money. But if you just go on PowerShell and install some modules, obviously, instead of 1,757, there's going to be more. But some of them are static documentation, like Windows help at that time. I just did it. And Windows, you don't go and install modules. It is just idiot commands that were available with Windows version 11 or whatever. So if I just go here, notice for each one of them, I made it clickable. So here you can come in, say, go to Windows and get all the Windows information here. So if I search for a command like type, to look at the type of a file, notice here, you just, I give credit to MyWebUniversity, Python programming, free PDF, and also the Windows command line help that I generated the file. But I printed in a PDF format. So now the same command that I could come in here, say CMD, that I have to be in front of a Windows machine, which I am right now on this blue screen. You can see when I did this one, it displayed this information. But if I move this one over, notice that display the content of the file that I highlighted for you, and that's the same thing, right? So this is the help command. And then on this one, I also made it like, for example, for type, I showed you for type. Let me just show you one more thing for type. And so if I just do this, notice that type, I also made it like an audio. So if you're learning it, then sometimes you just don't have the patience to read each one of them, then you can just click on it to read it for you.
Displays the contents of a text file or files. Type drive, path, file name.
So this is a part of my code as well as the browser information with AI stuff that it's actually, you could program it to say which user should read it and what is the sound and what the character and this and that. But you can also pause it and remove it. So the same thing with path command. If the command is a lot more, obviously it reads it more.
Displays or sets a search path for executable files. Path, drive, path, %path, path, type path.
And you can pause it and you can just move it and then you can change the playback speed and all those things. And sometimes on Microsoft Edge, you have more options. Here, like PowerShell commands, if you want to learn, I have everything for you in PDF file. So if you say, well, how about git process? I know that command, what it does, it just run it there. And then git process and all that thing. So if you're here and you say, on the Windows, now I want to get to PowerShell, you could just get into PowerShell now and inside PowerShell. And then if I say get dash process, it's going to give me a process of the system. And if I say PS, that's an alias for get dash process. So alias PS is going to show you that when you run PS, it's an alias for get dash process or get process there. So a lot of the commands that you do on there, I could just show you, but let's go back to Anaconda. So I don't want to just cover something and then miss something. So I want to make sure that when you come in here, you have a full kind of like school here to just learn and then just keep growing and growing. I have about 1,600 videos already. So that's 1.6K videos available on YouTube channel. Some of them are 6 hours, some of them are 5, some of them are 4, and so on. But even the short videos, they are very helpful that you could just come in, like I show you some of this one. I just posted from the other one, developers eye candy. This is just basically running the os.system Conda list, and then this is the Anchor, and then Python, and then $. When you run this one, it is basically using regular expression. And then some of these things, I'm writing it inside the OS module. But a lot of these things, if the developers that they're coding, they will love these things. That's why I call it eye candy. I love it myself. I just code all the time and program these things. And nowadays, everything people, they just go on ChatGPT and they try to run something and produce it. But if you are developing yourself and you can write something similar to ChatGPT, then don't bother with paying somebody else on an account and membership and still control you and this and that. And just try to make life easier for others so they can help you there. And then I believe it or not, if one person can do it, we all could do it. If I can do it, you all could do it. That's how I look at it. Okay. So let's just go back to this one, and then I'm going to start teaching you Anaconda.org. So first thing on the screensaver of Ubuntu, we log in, and then I'm gonna move this one on this side so I don't see, if something goes on top, I could just see what is blocking there. Everything else is okay. So right here, I could right click, you see right click, and then open in terminal. So now I open a terminal, I can size this one terminal. I'm going to move it a little bit away from this one so this thing doesn't block it. And I can even move this one right there. And so I can just move this one and size it there. I think that's all good enough to just cover it there. So let's say, and this size is, I'm on the current directory. I'm going to go my home directory, which is home Wahid, get end password Wahid. You can see that it's my home directory is home Wahid. So if I just say echo $ home, you can see it's also pointing to that one. If I say cd to desktop, Linux is case sensitive, so you have to type in uppercase when it's D is uppercase, otherwise it's not going to work. So on Mac, you can type in lowercase and still understand. On Windows, but a Mac only for the directory structure, but not the actual Unix command. Mac is based on BSD, which is Darwin, Berkeley Software Distribution. BSD is Berkeley Software Distribution, Sun Microsystem, Sun OS, and then Mac OS were based on BSD version of Linux. BSD is really cool. That was built by University of Berkeley, Berkeley Software Distribution, which is the Department of Computer Science. And at the time when they did it, later on, FreeBSD come out, and then a lot of OpenBSD and other stuff. But Mac is still using Mac OS X. Darwin is based on BSD. Solaris, Sun Microsystem, Sun OS, Sun Solaris, and Open Solaris were based on Sun OS, which is BSD also. So on Windows, you could do uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter, it is recognized. On Linux, you have to be careful. Now, if I say pwd, not this my print working directory changed, but $home is still what is on my default home directory as the user. So ID-UN is going to just show you Wahid. If I say ID by itself, it's going to give me all the parameters. ID-A is going to give me similar parameters. ID and -U for user is going to give me the user ID, which is 1000 here. ID-group ID is also 1000. So ID-UN give me the username, which is for 1000, it is converted to name, which is Wahid, as you see above. Similarly, ID-group name is going to also show Wahid there. So why am I showing you these things? It's important because when you're coming on that this directory, pwd, and they say, okay, I'm logged on here, these files that are there are already having certain permission. So if I have this directory root and then /home under this one, and if I want to work on that one, basically this one is root. I cannot just create a file there on this one. So if even though I can go on home here and then say, okay, now that file, let's say touch this, now it says permission denied because I'm not the root. In order for me to create a file there, let me just do this. So this is that file, wlutfi, and I just say, okay, so let me just create a file here on this directory. I did a couple of times pwd. I'm going to clear a screen. So If you just see this and I say touch this, it did not do it. But if I say sudo and touch this, because I'm going to provide sudo access, which is higher privilege, now the file got created. Notice that is there. Now, if I say rm this, notice the ownership of that file is root. So if I say stat on this, basically it tells me that it's permission who owns it, it's root, and the group ID is root, and then what is the permission. So at this time, since I'm still ID-UN, if I say rm this, it's not going to delete it, even though I say write protected actually says empty file, and then it's going to say permission denied. But if I just say sudo here, then it's gone. So now you can see it is gone. So what I'm showing you here, if I just go out here on my main directory, I can come back here, and that's there. CD by itself, it drops me. I didn't need to do CD dot dot. If I want to go to my home directory, I could just jump in like that. Or if I go to home here and then say CD tilde, it's meaning that take me to my home directory. Because get end password, and then if I say backtick here, ID-UN, this one is also taking me to Ubuntu home directory information for the user that I'm currently logged on. I could also say get end password $, and then ID-UN, and then close it. It gives you the output, or you could just do the hard code Wahid, since I'm doing with Wahid there. And if I just say instead of Wahid, let's do the root, then it's going to give me the root information. So I can do the same thing a number of ways, right? So now let's get to the business of Anaconda. So if I say which Anaconda-Navigator, it is not installed. Navigator, let me just do Navigator, and then it's not installed. You see that? It is not installed. So how we get it? If I say which Conda, that's also not installed. But which pep is installed. So I could say pep list, that's a Python package indexer. So I could say pep list Python, and then I get all the information related to this. And then if I say, let's say pep list, let's see if it understands regular expression, $, and then no, it did not. So it did not pick it up from there. But if I assume that it's not there, can I just do a egrep? Obviously, you could do a grep or egrep. So you say pep list, and then grep minus IPython. This one will show only Python related information. So notice that IPython is there, Python-opt is there, and Python-Debian, and so on. So each one of them are there, but if I look only for IPython, obviously I could do it that way with this. And if I wanted more than just one, I could also do egrep, and then say whether it's IPython or something with Python app, show me those two. Then it's going to pick up both of them. So then you could say, is the NumPy there? NumPy there, and you could see NumPy is there. So the version is there and there. If I want to just get into Python itself, I could say Python -- version. You can see it is giving me the Python version 3.10.12. And you can also get it Python -v like this. You will get that output from there. At the same time, you could also say pep -- version to get the pep version, which is pep 22.02 for 3.4. And then remember, I showed you that I told you that OS release is this. Linux OS release 22.04. So I also earlier I told you that the manual pages, like if I say man, for example, let's do uname dash man uname. So you can see uname is there. All the manual pages, there's a very nice structure there. If I want to say man pwd print working directory, it is there. Man pwd for executable working directory of process running. So you could get the manual pages at the same time. If I say man process stream 3, notice that all of these processes that they have all these arguments, so they're on text based. And then I had to just read these files, all of them, thousands of them, then just convert it to a PDF format and put it on my website and my storage and everything to make it in a very nice format available for you, whether it's Rocky or Red Hat or Linux, and you're now available, having everything at your fingertips. Just go visit my website and enjoy learning and don't buy books. That's what I'm trying to do to help you out. So, and this one, like we did these commands, I'm gonna clear a screen and say ls-l user share man. This directory is all the manual pages of Linux, user share man. So if I say man question mark is going to give me all the section 1 through 9. Notice that the man.8 and man.9. If I just say how many of them are there, I can do a word count minus L, and then you can see 6,797, about that much that I showed you earlier on my website. So for each one of them, I had to do it. Like if I just say grep minus I scanf, so all the scanf related function is section 3. Notice that section 3, it's going to read this one. So when I say man scanf by itself, automatically it says, oh, you mean open this file, which is section 3, and then produce you. Notice it's section 3. Okay, so if I say the same thing with, and instead of scan, if I say printf, this command, notice that this one has section 3 and also section 1. Section 1 and section 3. So if I just want to do only those two and say head minus 3. Let's say the first 3 of them, you could see printf a statement. This is section 1, which is actually Linux Ubuntu command for typing commands, so like printf, not a C library or standard IO library. So if I just do a man printf, by default it opens this one. And just give me the section 1 of it, which is like if I say printf and then followed by all these arguments, and then I could format it the way I want to do it and use the printf statement. But at the same time, if I need to get the C standard library, I could say -3 section 3. Now I open section 3, which is under the standard io.h, and then all these format printf statement. Everything the way you formatted, it's there. If you're printing a string, you could do %s, float is %f, and numbers is %d, and so on. So all of that one is explained here. You can just read it. Similarly for man scanf. Notice scanf is the same thing, and by default, there's no section 1, so automatically I didn't have to do -s3 scanf and all the header files. But I could also do -s3 and then do that one. That's gonna scanf. So like a mount command, there's been man mount is section 8. So that automatically opens section 8. I didn't have to do section this. If I want to see if there's a section 1 command, it is not. But if I do section 8, then it is there, it is going to work. So the reason is because of earlier what I showed you here. If you look at this one and then say, give me the mount command, those are all section 8. These are my mount with the section 1, those are different command if user mount. But if I just say mount all, for example, mount all or mount Now, let's not do section only a portion of it. We say more, see if any of them there. So you can see here they're mount with section 2 also. So, and you mount is section 2, and then also you mount section 8. So if you look at that one, and then you could also do, instead of more, say grep and between 2 comma 8. Just show those ones. Now you notice that every one of them that has this is kind of a regular expression saying that match something with mount. If I don't want to see these other ones, I could just say here, say mount dot that. So then it's going to just make it much nicer. So now my command that is long, I did this one, and then here I couldn't even, I didn't have to do a grep command. But yeah, I did have to do it in this case because I'm getting it from this list. So now if I say man minus S2 mount, this is gonna open section 2 because there's section 8 and section 2. And if you want section 8, and by default is you don't have to specify it, but you could also specify it with section 8. If you just don't do it, it's just man mount is going to read the section 8 because that's system administration section. So you know that one now. We have all the things that I talked to you on the website, and I said I'm going to show you. I did show you. The other thing is that I said etc os-release. This is a Debian distribution is 22.04. So the Jammy Jellyfish is the name of the code, and then basically it's a long-term support. I have made a lot of videos on this one, and then you can just enjoy those ones. I have also made a 6-hour video on the MyWebUniversity, and this is the one that is about 6 hours and 18 minutes and 57 seconds. That is the entire Linux Ubuntu full course from a novice to expert. So this is not even to advanced, it's to expert level because I cover a lot of coding, programming in Python, C, C++, administration, system administration level. So you're welcome to watch it. Unfortunately, this has been watched more than maybe 357 or 628 views, but this 0% of what should be covered. This should be in hundreds or millions of watch. And someday it's going to hit it. But whether you are going to take advantage of it before everybody else does it, and then you watch it, say, oh, and since this one is watched so many times, unfortunately, some of the times I have heard from people that YouTube sometimes they don't post everybody's video. Otherwise, if everything is free, these companies are just not gonna make money providing these classes. So I don't know the detail of that one, and I'm not holding anybody for that one. And I just I think that YouTube is treating me well. It's fair to me, and I have been just when I'm posting it, it is providing the platform. That's all I care. If I can just help you out, and you can help somebody else out someday, whether it happened this year or next year or 5 years from now, these videos are going to be on YouTube channel. I'm just gonna keep it there. So let's just go back here. This one, there's a part 2 of it. It's also about 2 hours something for this course. So the part 2 is just also there, and maybe I could search for the same title. If you just do part 1 of 1, I did this one on the from 0 to hero here. I'm gonna just change my search. So on this one search, you will search and you will get on YouTube. But if you search on this one and you say, search it on my YouTube channel, then you could say part 2 of 2. Let's see how many video I have that has part 2 of 2. And right here is this is the one that I was going to open it for you. So it found it right away, and that's 1 hour 43 minutes. So you can see I have R programming language part 2 of 2, installation of VirtualBox, and then Linux full course part 1 of 2, and then a lot of these videos. This Windows subsystem, Kali Linux is really cool. I have 5 videos there. NumPy is there, a lot of these ones. So I'm not gonna go through 1,000 videos here. I'm gonna close, minimize this one. Let's come back here and then we start Firefox. So why do I start Firefox here? Because I wanna just get the software downloaded here. So this one is telling me that open previous tab, show this. So at this time, I'm just gonna open up Anaconda, HTTPS anaconda.org. That's the website. Whether you go to anaconda.org or anaconda.com, it takes you the same place. And the org is organization and com is commercial. And then I'm not affiliate to this company. So I just want to produce you this documentation from open source community and just see if I can help you. So right here is the registration. If you accept the term and condition, then you can continue on with downloads. But this is like also if you want to register, you could say I'm not a robot, and then you can register. Let's see if we can go to download an account directly and then see if that option comes in. Yes, it does. That's a good thing. On the last video, I said, well, why do I have to accept it? Maybe they were just having that page for only registration. And then later on, when I watched the video, at some point I noticed, oh my God, I was just saying there's something inaccurately. So they don't require you to authenticate. And then this page on other Firefox on Chrome, on Firefox on Rocky, this one was not getting enabled as a checkbox. Maybe because I had to go through the registration and at some point I did not accept it. So this accept cookies stuff, you have to accept it in order to be able to download. So now I accepted the cookies. I'm going to say skip registration. And then here now we have the download page, and then you just say, okay, in this case, I'm doing Linux Ubuntu, but it is Linux. So Linux, I need to download the 64-bit x86 because I told you that my machine is x86, 64-bit operating system. Now notice that uname M for machine type, it says x86-64. Uname dash P for platform also give you the same thing. And then cat minus N etc OS dash release also tells you that it is long-term support 22. There's no platform here on this one, but this is how you get it. If you could say uname dash A would give you all of them, and then dash machine name is there, dash platform is there, and then uname dash O will give you the operating system version, which is Linux in this case. Dash S is giving you Linux, which is kernel. Uname and dash kernel name will give you the same thing. Kernel name will give you the same thing. So you have those options to just see them. Let's see on this one. Now the download is getting here. We could just click on it to see how far it is gone. And then it's just shows that this binary is getting downloaded. The way you confirm that one, you could just clear the screen here, say cd to downloads directory, because I started Firefox on that one. Now this one is getting downloaded. It's not completed yet because these files Anaconda and this code, it should only have .sh when it's done. So disk usage minus sh, you can see it is 1.1 gig, and then that looks like that completed the .sh. And then there's also Conda Debian AMD 64. That is something extra that it gets downloaded, but that's March 30. That was something that I was doing code, Visual Studio Code. So on the one that is today's date is the one that I'm looking for. So on this one is this .sh file, and that's completed here. So if I go back on the this, now notice this is 1.0 gig or 1.1 gig that is completed. So let's get this one and start using it. So what I'm showing you here, if I do ls here, and then let's do ls star.sh. So this one is the file Anaconda. And if I say ls -l star.sh, then it's gonna give me a star, meaning that wildcard, I don't have to type in this long name. You could also do ls ana and then press tab, and it will just show you ls -l ana. Then automatically matches that one. So notice the permission of that file is read write by the owner, and then read write by group, and read by others. That means that I, as Wahid Lutfi, I don't have execute permission. So if I say Anaconda, it is a tab, it's not gonna show that stuff. Why? Because that file is not executable. So doing a list here, and then the permission of that one is the one with the Anaconda is this. I'm going to do a stat on it to show you the same thing. Anaconda, and then you can see the permission is read write as it shows here. Read write but not execute permission. And then the user ID is Wahid, and group ID is Wahid. So why am I doing that one? I need to change the permission, change mode U plus X, meaning that whatever is the user, give it execute permission. For which file? Anaconda, that file. Now I change that permission. If I just do ls -l again, notice that file is read write execute permission here. The group does not have read execute, because I don't need to have a group when I have execute permission as user. I can run it there and then this. And notice the color change. So if I say ls Anaconda, and then automatically it shows that color, right? So now file Anaconda, that is also showing that this POSIX shell script. Doing this, so how do I know what is there? Head -10, the first 10 line of that file, I want to show you just what is important. Notice that this is /bin bash bourne shell. So if I say which sh file user bin sh, this is normally symbolic link to bash. So you can see it's a symbolic link to dash. Dash or bash, they are the same thing. Debian born again shell. So dash. Bash stands for born again shell, and the sh is born shell. So corn shell is KSH, and CSH is through C shell. C shell was the previous version of through C shell, and Z shell is like an enhanced version of all of them. And so let's go back to why I need to use it in symbolically. So PS is I'm already in bash, so I could just run that script in there and just execute it. Meaning that I'm on this directory, and then the file is Anaconda. Now it is executable. I could say Anaconda and then just run it there. When it was read write permission, did not have the execute permission. If I have typed in this, it would say permission denied, because you have to change the mode. That's why you need to learn that change mode from my previous videos that I showed you. So when you do this one now, it is asking you to press enter so you can agree with the license. And once you agree with the license, you just type in yes here, and then it's gonna say, it's gonna get the software installed on Anaconda 3 home. So I say, yeah, that's okay, just continue. Then it's gonna continue. And then it is installing it under home Wahid Anaconda 3 directory. And right now it's unpacking it. There's about 8 or 7 gig altogether. Maybe it's going to take a while. But what we could do is, since it is there and it's doing this stuff, we could open another terminal here and then go to Anaconda and then that directory. So now I'm on Anaconda directory. If I do ls -l, these files are being written with this terminal, this one. Right here, this working on it, and then we just are waiting for it to finish, and then when it is finished, let me resize this window a little bit because at the bottom it is just not easy to see it. I'm gonna actually move the zoom on the top. Yeah, I think I can do that. And then now it still is okay. So this one is still a little bit too big for it. Okay, now I resize it, and I'm gonna keep resizing this one. I think it is good enough for this size. Okay, and then this one terminal here, you can see this is still being updated now. And this directory, clear screen, this directory, and it wrote a lot of stuff here. Notice under the bin is all the binaries that are there. So spiders, Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Anaconda-Navigator, all of them are there. So if I go to the bin directory, just say ls spider, let's see if a spider is already installed. File spider, that is the binary that is for ASCII text executable. It's actually a Python script, word count -l, a spider. You can see it's 11 lines. So we cannot even see cat -n spider to see the 11 lines. So not cat, cat concatenation. So you can see that the line that says this is running Python on that directory, and then this is coding for UTF-8, and then import regular expression, import sys module, and then from spider.app.start, import main. Then it's going to say if name is main, then whatever the argument is passed, arg sub 0 and regular expression converted, dash scripts, all that information, and then call that exit out. So this is just doing this Spider start app. This Spider app is the one that is going to load this module, and then that will actually open the application. It's an app, which is similar to like an IDE. So here, this one is already completed. With other ones, I just showed you one of them is Spider. I could show you that here on this directory, under the bin, you could have a Jupyter start, and notice how many of them: Jupyter-console, Jupyter-lab, Jupyter-notebook, Jupyter-run, and so many of them, right? Same thing if you just say, show me with Anaconda, anything with Anaconda. Notice Anaconda is there, Anaconda-Navigator, the main one, and then Anaconda-project. And then say ls -l Conda, that's the command line Conda there. So this is what when we do it to initialize it. Here, this one is telling you something here. Say, if you prefer that the Conda based environment not to be activated on startup, run the following command when Conda is activated. So I want to pause for a minute here and show you some tricks that you could do. If you decide to just do this one, conda config -- set auto activate base false, by putting it this one false, it's not going to modify your .bash or C stuff in a way that every time the base is activated by default, because this is setting it to false. And then you can also do this by running conda init -- reverse $shell, yes or no, that option. And now it's gonna give us like no option by default. So I'm gonna go the default one. I don't wanna just do this yet. If I just wanna activate it, I can always modify my .bash or C file. I can always run this command later to just change it and so on. So let's just say no by default here. and then we're done with this one, right? So it says now, I have done this one, but if I just run Conda, because we didn't do that option with false, it did not do anything yet. So I'm going to say ls minus l, let's say tilde, this is slash dot bash rc. So notice my dot bash rc is March 30 of 2024. It did not get modified because I did not allow it to do that one. So I could just say, well, I want to just enable that option by doing conda init. But I'm not, if I say conda init here, it's not going to understand it. Say, I don't understand conda. So that means I have to be on this directory of conda to just run this under this, right? So I could just either go cd to that directory, or I could say, just copy that path here, paste, and say here, say init. Now it is running conda init, and it is going to modify this bash or C for me, right? So now the file that earlier I did this one, now it is modified. Notice it is December 25. And if I do a grep on it to see what it took, what happened to it, I say grep minus I conda, then these lines were written because of that initialization that I did earlier, right here, conda init. As a result of that one, this file got modified, and then as of December 25th, and these are written to it. What does that mean? Now, meaning that I could cd to this directory, and I'm on this one, I have a dot bash or C. By default, if I do a dot bash or C more, all my settings are there, right? But if I want to just only look for conda stuff, I could say grep minus I conda. Notice that this one is telling it to say, okay, run the conda so my environment gets set. If I just type in conda this time, it's not going to work. It does not understand conda. But if I say source.bash or C, then now it's going to enable it automatically. Because of these lines, it made my environment there. So conda, and then say info, I could get all the information about conda here. You could run it here. So I'm doing conda info -e for environment. You can see I'm on the base right now. So I'm on the base here. But on this other screen that I am here, if I just do a conda list here, you could run the command from that directory where I am. But if I get out here and say, okay, on this one, I did not just source it, now say which conda, is not going to find it. It is not there. Which spider is not there. But I'm on this directory, I could source my bash or C. It's like as if I open another terminal, now my base is there. So now my base is there. If I say which spider is going to show, which conda is going to show, and then conda list is going to show, all of that information, I can run the commands and so on. And then which conda-navigator, it is, sorry, which conda-navigator. And that one is Anaconda-Navigator. It is not Conda-Navigator. So Anaconda, and it's there in the path. So if I want to spin it off from here and start it, and instead of the which, I can just say, since it's found in that directory, I can just start it. And since I'm on a graphical interface with external desktop, then it will start the GUI for me easily. And then all the integrated development environment of Anaconda, it is there. So sign in for AI coding. I don't need help. And then I'm going to close that one. I'm going to come back here and then move this Anaconda. And then this one, no, don't show this again. And then right here, if I just move Anaconda. I'm trying to move it. It is not doing it. Maybe the handle is a little bit further. So this is the environment under it, and then home and everything. And this is still getting refreshed. So if you want to go click on learning, you can see all the options, Matplotlib, Conda Forge, and all the information is here, right? If you want to go click on the environment right now, I don't have another environment. I only have a base environment. So let's go on. I mean, you can read it here also, but I want to just show you command lines here. So if I go back on this screen where I logged in on the base here, I say conda config dash E. You could run that one to show, sorry, conda on the info dash E to give you the information on the base that is the active. That's why it says asterisk here. So at this time, I'm gonna say, let's create a new Conda environment. At this time, before I do that, I'm gonna say Conda list and then do a Python and then $, just to show you that the version of Python that is coming with it. And then you can see this is the regular expression syntax that you say encore and then $, meaning that it starts with P and then ends with the new line. So that's why Python 3.12 is shown. If I say Python dash version, you can see it is 3.12. PEP dash version, it is showing you PEP 24. Conda dash version, it will tell you that you're on 24.11. So if I say Python dash uppercase V is similar. And if I just say go ahead and load Python 3.12 version, now I'm inside Python 3.12. Import sys module, and then sys module is very useful, very nice module. So now I could say sys.executable. That's my favorite one. It tells you what is your executable of Python there, and then sys.version will give you the Python version. Sys.version info will give you the major number, minor numbers, and so on. So major is 3 and minor is 12, and then the micro is 7, 3.12.7. And then sys.platform, it tells you it's Linux. Sys.path is going to tell you the path of the modules, the site modules and everything else. Sys.modules, it actually shows you all the modules there. You can also do a dir of sys to just see all the modules that comes with sys and all methods and attributes. If you just do a dir by itself, you can see it shows that sys is loaded and then everything else was already there. So if I quit out of this one and then clear my screen and then say Python again, and this time I say dir, notice sys is not there. You have to load it. Import sys, and then dir now shows us that the sys is there. Import NumPy as NP, and then now dir of this NP is also shows there. So if I say dir of NP, I could see the NumPy modules and all the related things that I can do with NumPy, or here, methods and attributes and arrays and everything else, constants and so on. So if I want to say, let's clear this screen, I'm going to say, you could say something like print this and say new line character. So this new line character is going to just print one blank. But if you say multiply it by, let's say 18 times, then it's going to go clear the screen, but it's still at the bottom. So if I just want to say do it like 25 times, and then the cursor is still the argument sub-zero, the command prompt, it is the 3 greater sign is showing there, right? So let's do a 30, so I don't see anything on top. Now my screen is there, but I'm on the bottom. If I want to just actually move it up, clearing my screen, you could say import OS module. In os.system, then you can use the operating system command. When I clear, it will clear the screen and it will just give you that. So this was the command that I type in and that cleared my screen. So now if I just say import pandas as PD. Let's see if pandas is there. Yeah, pandas is there. So I'm going to say there are pandas is there. You can see all the things we could do with pandas also. And just as an example, let's say clear screen again here, and then just say with NumPy and other ones, let's just write a few lines of code to see if we can just run from inside Python interpreter some neat stuff. This is the idle stuff. So with the IDE, you have more choice on the graphical interface, but I'm showing you command lines because sometimes you could write these programs and save it into a file. You don't have to be in an IDE environment to just load it all the time and then execute it. You could run it on thousands of servers at the same time concurrently when you call them. And so let's do this. I say import requests as a rec. Okay, so I just did that one. Since all those modules were there, I could say os.system and then say conda list and then egrep minus I. So I'd say NumPy, it was already there. Pandas already there, and then pandas and then requests. Those ones were there. So just to confirm that those ones are there, I'm going to modify this first one. When you start with double quote, you can close it with double quote because I'm using single quote within this or statements. And so I just want to do double quote with one so it is distinguished. Otherwise, it will not work and it will give you the syntax error. So this is start double quote and double quote. If you start with single quote and with single quote, then inside you have to do double quote, or you could escape it with backslash. So right here you do NumPy and all these ones, you can see it is there. So if I want to see the NumPy dot double underscore version, you can see that it's actually giving me the version that is produced here. Similarly for Panda, I created the alias as PD double underscore version underscore is going to tell me the version of this one. And then remember the sys module sys version was giving me the Python version. So that is 3.12 there. But notice this one for Python, I did not do a grep on it. So I'm going to do a also grep Python. Then we can see that for Python, there's a lot more for Python. So here is 3.12, you can see there. So what we are doing here is I could also revise this grep command to say, don't show me everything that would dash. There you could say, pipe this one and then that, and then say egrep, and then another pipe, grep minus v, Python dash. So this will just eliminate with Python dash. Now you have a shorter names. But all the other ones that are like on brutal dash Python, those ones are showing or something. So brutalize. And so Python is there. That's the one that I wanted to show you. So the Python version is also good, the 3.12, and we say sys dot version as 3.12 info was doing that. So we did confirm it. Now we say os.system and then clear a screen. I'm going to say create a URL. So URL is equal. Let's make it uppercase. Doesn't matter what you do with uppercase or lowercase, or make it lowercase. But URL, I like to feel like we're doing uppercase with the name. That's fine. So I'm going to create a list here, and then on the list I'm going to say HTTPS. Let's go to python.org, and then just also one more site, or we could just open my site, or let's do three of them. HTTPS nasa.gov, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to just change it to Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where I work at, and jpl.nasa.gov. jpl.nasa.gov is Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And then I'm going to just say also another list of string is HTTPS, and then we could also do it by a protocol name and then other ones, but it's much easier to type this one. I'm going to make it like this at this time for convenience. So my web university is the channel, and then that will end the URL. So now if I say URLs, you will just get all those ones. So I could say for URL and URLs, and then print URL. You can see that it is printing those URLs. So we got it there. Now I'm going to say open a command syntax, and then first I need to confirm that the software is there. I could use Firefox, and then I could just open it in Firefox. But Firefox is already open. I could close it and just open it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use this utility called xdgn-open. Let's see if that one is there. OS/system, and then you confirm, say which xdg-open, and then if that is there, yeah, it is there. So I don't have to just use Firefox. I will use that one. So I say cmd is equal, and then I'm going to say my command is xdg-open, and then space. The reason I put a space there because I'm going to pass in the URL after that one. Usually when you say this, the name of the argument. Since it's found in the path of user bin, I don't need to put the full path. So then I could say that for statement that we did here, and say for URL in, actually, right now we just open it. We don't need even a request method and everything. But let's just say for you or else. So I did uppercase URL. I'm gonna say for URL with this one and you or else. Then what do you want to do? Say os.system, and then say cmd, and then plus, then the name of the $sign URL, not $sign URL because I'm on Python. If I was a bash or PowerShell, I would do $sign. So command plus URL. So this will just open it, and then let's see how it works. Now this just opening it. Notice for each one of them, it is loading it, and then it's opening it here. So let's see. On this one, I'm going to go to the browser with the one that we did, and this is Jet Propulsion Laboratory NASA. As you can see right now here, the Ingenuity helicopter that actually like took off on the Mars there. Imagine how cool is that. So, and this is all these projects that we work on and at Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And they're mighty things, and this is what a Jet Propulsion Laboratory is all about. In Pasadena, there's all nice buildings. For each building, there's a project that is associated with it, and then everybody is working on these ones. So you're welcome to go to explore on this web page, and then still look at multimedia, and there's a lot of documentation and technical videos and learning, a lot of things. Caltech is the institute where we all report to. We're all employee of Caltech. Well, Caltech is actually getting the budget from Congress, and then we all work on the project there. So if you just go to Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and then there's also careers and galleries and everything, you're welcome to just explore and then start learning videos, watch videos, and then enjoy it. And then for each of these projects, there's a lot of them for Voyagers, Mars, MSL, Curiosity rover. This was landed in 2012, August 5th. August 5th was my birthday, and I was joking with one of the section manager at the time, and that he just retired. And I was like, his name was Richard Van Wy. I told Richard, Richard, this is going to be 100% successful. He looked at me and said, why? I said, well, it's my birthday. It has to be successful. He started laughing with me. Yeah, he's a very nice man, though, and just we all work with together. And then there's a lot of nice people at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a lot of professionals, a lot of dedicated people, and that's why these projects are successful. And then very kind of honored to work in there. And then for 22 years, I've been there. Currently, my last 8 years is enterprise system analyst. Before that one, for 13 years, I was a senior system administrator. And then I had done a lot of these projects, building operating system, installing software, configuring it, writing software, and then a lot of technical stuff, whether there was database, doc share application, supercomputing, HPC, and everything. I have been involved on all the projects there. So I'm not like a one-man show, but if you name a project, I have worked on it. Whether it was a flight ops project, or maybe directories, or LDAP, or supercomputing, HPC, TAC, Gallica, and then a lot of standalone server, virtualization, containers, Docker stuff, everything. And then a lot of applications, MCEs application, ECEs, and fixing SPL tickets, cybersecurity stuff. It's my job all over. So I really enjoy that place, and then I am happy to work there, and then I'm honored to be part of JPL there. So I'm going to close this one, and then you can see here the next page might have been just let me close the navigator because navigator is blocking it. So navigator, you can also spin off like a lot of stuff here. I actually did on the environment. Let me just show you the environment, why I stayed on navigator. I'm not going to close navigator here. I'm going to just go to the interface where I started this one on the terminal. This is the one there. So I press enter. This one exit out now with the next screen. But for each of the URL, I should have had a list of them. Somehow when I closed it, I did not click on the next tab. So if I just do the same command here again, and then say open it, it should open those ones. So let's see, this is one of them there. And let me minimize this screen. And where is that? Yeah, right here you can see each one of them is one tab. So that NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory was one tab. Last time I clicked on this one with the X here, that's hiding on the side here. This X, rather than closing just the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or just leave that one here, I could go to Python, and it's now Python. I could go to the documentation, everything is available. Or go to MyWebUniversity here on my YouTube channel, and then look at that one and there. So this is all about coding, and it gives you this. So if I close each one of this one, the shell that I'm using here is not going to close just because I close one tab. Notice if I press tab here, it's just there, but this screen is still available for me. So on this one, I'm going to close all of them at one shot. Now here, I want to just quit out of this one and show you, like for example, a virtual environment that I could create here. Remember I said Conda config, Conda info minus envs is the same as typing 1E for environments. Similarly, if I say -S for system, I'll get the system information here. So a lot of the Conda system parameters are here that you could just get information on them. If you say -- system is equivalent to -S for short. And then the same thing, if I want it in JSON format, you just type in --JSON. And if you say, Wahid, how do you know all these commands? I show you an easy way trick that you can just do it, tips and tricks, right? So that's what development is all about. Conda info --JSON, you see this is a kind of a data dictionary with key pair value, and then there's an array of a list here. A list is there. Then again, key pair value of this data dictionary, and then again another array of a list or a list in Python we call it list, and C and C++ we call it array. Doesn't matter what term you use, it has indices, and that you could do it. And at the end, this brace closes the data dictionary of that one. So this was the command that I used. If I say, and just give me that --help, that's how I memorize those commands. I told you that you might ask, say, Wahid, how do you remember all these things? I don't remember all of them because I work on thousands of different projects and different servers and everything. But there's, thank God, God gave me a good memory, and I'm very happy. And that, with God's help, you can do everything, but you have to still just memorize it. You have to have a structured way of, methodical way of reaching something and looking at it. So if you forgot it, how do you help yourself back then, because you didn't work for it for 6 years or 6 months? And whenever you come back to it, you could still figure it out. So that's what code reusability and the syntax and understanding the concept is better. You don't memorize syntax. You might memorize it just like I did here to just get things done because you have been practicing it a lot. But if you all of a sudden go to a company, they say, can you write this program that we wrote it in Python, and can you write it in maybe Ruby or maybe in Perl, and if you didn't work on Ruby or Perl or maybe Swift or C or C++, now knowing a for statement, a function that you wrote on C or Python or vice versa, the other way is so easy by looking at the consulting, those manual pages, documentation that's online and everything on the system. You could figure things out. You could put 2 and 2 together to make it 100, right? 2 and 2 to make it 4 or something, right? So that's how we just do it. And so this is Conda info-e gave me the environment. I want to create a new virtual environment because that one is Python dash version is telling me it's 3.12. I want to just create a 3.11, for example. So I could say Conda create is the statement. If I just didn't know that create the statement here, I just say Conda is enter, and then these are the list of commands that are there and that you can do. One of them is create. And create has arguments, right? So if you just say Conda create and then --help, then it tells you that if you want to use the short name, you do -n, and then if you want to do the long name, --n. So you could assign name. All these parameters, nobody memorized all of them and then on one shot, but you could figure it out. And then once you understand one of them, you could say Conda create -n for short, or -- name to give a name of that version. So I say Python 3.11, and then I'm going to say Python is equal 3.11. So what is this syntax saying? This do use the Conda binary to create an environment and name the environment as Python 3.11. If you could use the short name is -n. If you use the long name is -n. It's your choice. Then Python is equal 3.11. Now you have 3.11 created. So this one, it will install the Python 3.11, and then it's giving me option of, do you agree with me? Or I say, yeah, proceed. If you just do a -y, the -y, accept it, it's not going to prompt you, it's going to automatically do it. Now say Conda info-e, now we have another virtual environment. Notice at the time that it created, it says to activate it, you can do Conda activate Python 3.11, which is this one. Since I'm on the base, I want to activate that one. I could say Conda activate, and this is the name. So Py 3.11. Now my environment changed here. Notice there. So if I just clear a screen here, my environment is there. But now if I say Conda list and then say Encore, and then write Python and then $, I just want to see the version of Python. And you can see it's 3.11 there. So if I say Python dash version, it tells me 3.11. If I go to Python binary and say that's loaded 3.11, I don't need to say import sys and then say that version, because I already know that it is there. But in order to say what is the executable, it is good to just go to load sys. That way you know that you're running from this path, and then this is Python 3 from environments. So now I could say sys.path is that path, all the side packages and everything that is there. So when you do import OS and say os.system, and then you say conda list, just to list all of them, this list is going to read from this side packages, all the list of packages that are there here. So these binaries are actually installed on that one at the time when we did the installation, right? So now I want to just show you this. So we did that one, we looked at it, but let's look at the graphical interface that we say, okay, if I look at the clear screen here, say I'm on 3 disks. If I want to say, let's say we did that one, let's say Conda list, and then Conda list, and then I want to run a command here to say just do this one and show me everything here. But notice that if I say which spider, it is not installed here. Which Jupyter lab, it's not installed here. So it's Jupyter lab actually is on the user local bin, that is from the operating system. But if I say something like Anaconda-Navigator, that is not installed, because we have it installed under this virtual environment, Navigator, and you don't want to do it under every virtual environment. You want to just do it on the main, which is the base in this case. So if I say Conda and then say deactivate does not take any argument. So I'm back on the base here. Notice by deactivating from Py 3.11, I drop to the base. So if I just clear the screen here, and now did this one with the Conda, now I'm going to say info dash envs, you can see that it is basically Py 3.11, but I'm on the base. Now if I do which Anaconda Navigator, it shows me the path. So since the environment now it's based with Python 3.11, if I go back to the GUI and we just look at it now, look at the bases there, 311 is also there. So if I click on this one, all the packages that we did Conda list on it, that package is available on the right side here. And then this is the channels and everything. So here I could also search for modules. You could do that one, or you could go to the Conda, Anaconda.org website, search for it. Or you could do it from the command line. It's your choice. So let's say you do it from the command line here. I could say Conda search NumPy. So if I search for NumPy, it is basically searching all the packages that are there. Normally, if I don't have any additional package, NumPy is found on the main channel. So the main channel is the base channel, but it's a very small list of packages. Some packages may not be available on all channels. So on the base channel, you have a list of packages that are kind of default with pip. Pip has hundreds of thousands of packages, so much bigger than Anaconda, but Anaconda supports Python, C, C++, and other environment and that you can build on. But when you do the channel here, if you want to just search for something that is not in the main package, so you need to add that channel in your list. So there's a command called conda config that show channels. This is giving you all the channels that is currently configured. That's why the argument is config. I told you that you have to do it a methodical or a structured way. By knowing this is a config, then I could say, well, there's an argument to show the current one. But if I want to add another argument, this is what I mean by methodical. It's like a method that you use in order to say, oh, the channel I want to add Conda-Forge. Now I just added that channel. So if I do a show again, now you can see Conda Forge is added here. This is very nice. And then now if I run the same search with NumPy, it was going to tell me that, oh, NumPy is there. And the nice thing about Conda arguments, they are matching regular expressions. So you could say NumPy is equal certain version, or start with this kind of character or something, then you can do it. So that is another neat. Look at this is Conda Forge. All of these ones are finding NumPy version this. So if you want to get Conda-Forge 2.1.3, then you can do that one with install and then pointing to the right version and there. Even with the search, you can even say, and instead of this one, you could say Python is equal, let's say we say 2.1.3. See if that is going to only list those version. Yeah. So you can see that it's there. You could further do regular expression with it, depending on what you need to do. That's your choice. So at this time, I did this one in an Anaconda graphical interfaces there. Now notice I can move this thing like every other thing, which is nice. So if I go back to the home, and then the home, you can see if I want to install Python PyCharm IDE, the professional edition, I could do it, which is cost there, or the community version, you could do it. I usually use the community. I don't do professional, and then I'm not a professional person. My work is all professional, but I just use open source a lot of stuff. So it is nice to do that. Visual Studio Code is open source also. Anaconda Toolbox, you can install it, Anaconda Notebook, and there's a lot of things with the cloud here that you could do. And then at the same time, if you just decide to use Jupyter Lab, for example, and then some of them, they have this thing to launch it. Like if I want to install start Jupyter Lab from here, I could just click on it and it will open Jupyter Lab on local port, local host 127.0.0.1, port 88848. Those ones that will open it, and then Notice it is taking a little bit to load it, and then at some point it's gonna come. And notice this one is Jupyter Notebook. You can spin it off doing it. These are IDEs, and you can also install the Spider. If it is not installed, it will install it. Jupyter Lab, oh, actually it's installing it. That's why it's taking long. So I don't want to start it here because I have already done it here. I could use it from here. So in order to use Jupyter Lab, for example, I say I'm on the base, which Jupyter and Jupyter, and this is there, and sorry, which Jupyter is there, and then Jupyter-lab is also there. So I'm going to use the Jupyter with the argument of lab, and that will just not which spin it up or call it or invoke it. You just type it like that, Jupyter, and then the argument lab. So now, and this one is gonna just come out on port 888 or 127.0.01, and this is automatically opens that. I go here and resize that screen, and Ubuntu is making it all available for free using this. It's nice. Notice that here I could go on the setting and change it to different themes, and I like the darker theme here, and that is much more intuitive or much more pleasant for the eyes. So I'm gonna say, go ahead, open a new one. And then when you open a new one, you can open a console or a notebook or terminals and everything. If you open a terminals, it gives you a command prompt terminal. So now I'm on a Linux machine. I can do cat -n pcos -release. Every command that I could do on the Linux, I can do this one. On this terminal, it's the same thing, right? So you see it is there. Calendar 9031, calendar minus J, J2, and the calendar minus, no, calendar minus J lowercase, and then that would give you a Julian format, calendar minus dash A for after 2 months after of this one. So currently it's there. So since I want it only 1 month after, January would be 2025. I could also say calendar 1/2025. That would give me that month. But if I wanted more than just January, I could say give me 3 months after that one. So January, February, and March, and then it will tell you that one. Similarly, if I want to go before 3 months from now, if you see, we're in December, so November, October, and September is 3 months before that. And then we could just issue these commands here. Conda less to give you the commands. So in addition to you being able to run Conda, you could run pep commands, and you can run operating system commands and use a for statement for I, and then you could say, let's say, 1.2 5, let's say, and then we say do echo $I followed by hello world, and then just do that, and then say done, and it will do that one. So then you say, well, can I use the color here? You could say hello this, and then say laugh out loud cat. If that package I installed it, yeah, with. So you could just do that one and just make a nice color here. If you just say, well, can I change that for statement to just do more than just 5 lines? Just it's a loop 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever you want. You just do that one, and then clear screen. It's just the command is there. Every time you run it, it's a different set of colors. Really nice, right? At the same time, if you say something else on the text, you will happen to do that. So let's close this one. We show you inside Jupyter Notebook. If I just say open a new window, new terminal launcher, and then I say, go ahead, open it like this, right? So now I'm inside here. I could say, just go ahead, make a markup, and I say, let's say, please, I don't want to make it too big. So the markdown, I want to say demo on Python. So let's say that we do the demo on Python, and then to do this one, and then we just say, let me close this one. It's just sitting there, and then when we run this one, if you just run it as code, and they say, go ahead and run this one, and this one has to be a markdown to just give it the output. So you do that one that says demo on Python. Now I'm going to just demo something, right? So that for statement that we did with the bash script, let's do it on the Python. So you could say for num and range of so we started with 1 and we finished at 5. I'm gonna finish at 6, so 5 included. And if I just don't do a 1 increment, automatically it's assumed increment by 1. So this range function works a start with, end with, and then step, whether you increment or decrement. And then you put the separator. So now you say, the command that I want to say is say print, and then we're going to use f string function, and then we say the brace here now, followed by the colon, and say hello world, and then we just close the string and then close the function, and then we just run that one there. So if I just compile that one, it's going to say that information. But notice that I did that printf statement here because on this one, I'm not doing a OS module. So the print statement is just doing inside here. In order to make it color, then I could just do the same thing, say import OS, and then say OS dot for num, and then a range of 1,6 there, and then say at this time I'm going to say os.system, and then here we could say echo. Actually, we have to put that's fine. We could just say I'm going to say print statement, and I'm going to say f here first, and then say the num here. Num is printing there, and then put the colon, and then say call the OS module. So I'm going to say call this one within the system, os.system. Let's see if this one inside here would work here. Echo hello. I'm not gonna write too much on the hello world stuff. I'm just writing hello here so we could not have the screen too much here. But I could also resize this screen here, and then that would do it. But let's just do it here. Hello is good enough. And then say laugh out loud, and then close it, the system. So that is closing this one, close the brace, and then close the code, and then the f string, and close this. So let's see, what I'm trying to do here is that import OS module for num is in range. Let's run it first, and then I'll explain it if it works. Yeah, it's not found. Laugh out loud, I missed that. Yeah, laugh out loud cat. So that was not found, but that now it is corrected. It should work. And notice that the color is not saying it. This information hello is there, but somehow the color did not get translated from inside this one to NumPy because we're using the print statement here. However, if you need to do something like that, when the interactive Python has something that is called You can do bang and then do the commands and then run it like that. So if I just want to say get the print working directory or just run ls -l, it's gonna just run that command. If I want to just say a for statement, obviously it's gonna be a lot more, but rather than do that one, I could say percentage ls magic. This is going to show me list of magic that are available. So notice that on this one is root and line is the magic, as well as I have self magic. So one of them is double percentage, one is that small percentage when you type in. So cell or a line, whichever one you're using it, is that it is giving you the option here. So with the one I use is bash, right? This is under the cell magic, right? So if I just minimize this window here, all I need to do is say use percentage bash. So that is giving me this, and then I say for none, and let's say $, and then we could use a sequence of 5 numbers or 10 numbers, doesn't matter. I'm going to say a sequence of 5, and then do, and then say echo $none. First, you need to test it to make sure that that syntax works, and then if you just press enter a couple of times, and then let's see if we need to run this cell, run it. Yeah, it does right here. So if I just say instead of this $none, we could say echo $none followed by hello world, and then that is the string, and then followed by a pipe, and say laugh out loud. That is the command that we want to do it. So if I just point here and then I run this cell again, it's gonna do that one. But again, the coloring on side here did not change because that is interpretation from within this. So that's the only way you could do it, is to open a terminal and run the terminal commands here. Okay. And then what else I need to show you here? You could create the stuff here. You could write it. Jupyter Lab is one of them that I showed you here. I'm going to shut down this one. The right way to do a shutdown is not to Control-C out of it. You just say shut down. So you come out under the file here, all the way to the bottom, and then it says shut down. When you click on it, it says, do you want to shut down? You say yes. So this is shut down. Now I am done with that one. If I say which spider, remember spider was already installed, so I can start the spider. It's a very nice IDE. Then you can see how nice it looks and everything. Version 5, and it is opening it. So I just don't want to get a tour. I just know this stuff. And then if I want to just do plotting or anything, I could do. This also gave you interactive listing of this. So I could do the commands here, say run the calendar command and run the date command. Anything that you want to do is cat -n etc/release. Those informations are going to be displayed. Then you can resize these hands, and you can just say, okay, make it to my need. And then notice that on the plot, I don't have anything here. If I click on the plot, and then if I don't have any lines here, I could just start here on the source to build the code. So if I could also open a existing file that I have Python program, but I could also start from scratch and say, for example, let's say create a x is equal, and we say, let me just close this one. X is equal, and then we say x for x in range of, let's say we'll start with 10 to 500, increment by 100. So just to do that one as the small numbers, but I want to just see how it works. So this one is a list that we created It is not NumPy, it is a little bit overhead with it. With NumPy, it's the same data type and everything, but this one is also a same data type, same kind of sequential, but NumPy has a lot of other features and functionality written in pure and C, and then it's going to help you a lot more. So I'm going to just run this one, and notice here it says that something. Let's see. I'm going to do a print here to see if there is no typo. I should print the X value here. By running it, it just generates this output here, right? So if I just say clear this screen, and then just run this output here, you can see it is just doing that one. But notice this is not like you cannot do a list vectorization, element-wise multiplication. So if I just assign this one and I say print x plus 10, and now it is just this addition is concatenation. It is going to error out. If I do say multiply it, just because it's a list, certain things could be just done because list is extending the same list 10 times. So if I want to do it two times, that is saying that the same list make it 10 to twice, right? One time and twice there. But addition did not work. Why? Because now I have to have a different data structure, which means that if I have a variable says, let's say if I say I need to import NumPy first here, say import NumPy as MP, and now I'm going to say go ahead do this one with NumPy.array, and then I'm going to assign X to it because X is already there. Now type of Y is different than type of X, right? So if I say print type of X, let's just do it in two lines. I could do it in one line, but I want you to just see a print statement different here, and then just at the same time print and then type of X. Type of let's just do Y second, and then list X first. So now I'm printing those two. If I just run this one, notice here the first one is saying as a list, and the second one is a NumPy. So if I want to get actual value of them, I could say print X. This is going to print X, and then here print Y. It is there. So both of them, one is a list, the other one is NumPy array. So this is a list. I could not do addition. Now it is a NumPy list. I could do what I could do this one. So I say print Y plus 10. Now I do element-wise vectorization, like you could do it on R language. Or C++ with vectors. Excuse me, I have to sneeze.